All right, welcome back to the Costas Verde Show, where we cover Bitcoin and altcoin price action to help you have a more profitable crypto journey. So, Bitcoin is it is flirting with the invalidation points that I gave in my last YouTube video as I fumble around with the drink I have on my desk here. So what this means for price right now, actually, Bitcoin is flirting with the invalidation level that I showed in my Sunday video. I didn't make a video on Monday because I'm sick still. As you could tell in my last video, I got worse. I'm still worse, but whatever. Therefore, since an invalidation point is being flirted with, the previous, what I suspected was an edge to the upside, is clearly subsiding because an invalidation point is being flirted with. We're going to dive in there and zoom in on this and then also try to connect it specifically with what's going on in the traditional market. So, with no further ado, let's dive into these charts. All right, rocky and roll. I have an Ethereum background, so I'm going to cover Ethereum a little bit here as well today. But Bitcoin is, for crypto, it feels like that's what we need to be looking at. Sometimes I identify that Ethereum is the voice of reason. But right now it's all about Bitcoin, and it appears that Bitcoin dominates, or at least it feels. I guess it's not happening right in the charts yet, but I'm getting the feeling that Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to go back up. So Bitcoin on very, very small time frames just made a local potential higher low. It's trying to form a higher low than this, and I think Ethereum just made a lower low on this quick move down here. So altcoins are, yeah, so see that's totally different. So when you see this kind of stuff happening between Ethereum and Bitcoin, that means I think Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to go back up. I think this was its bounce point. It looks like it's getting ready to start racing again. Yeah, this is I think this is getting ready to bare minimum. Actually, yeah, Bitcoin. No, this is Bitcoin on the CME. Sorry. There we go. This looks like this is going to be the bounce point. And Ethereum doing a local low, or making a local lower low as Bitcoin made a local higher low. That gives the indication that this is getting ready to spring up at least I would say 45% or to 45.8% to at bare minimum make a lower high. And it could be over the next couple of days. Let me measure that out. A whole week. I would say at least a week. Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to go up. What are the implications of that? Well, as Bitcoin, and the reason why I bring Bitcoin dominance up is because during those moments, the difference between what Bitcoin and Ethereum just did is going to happen more and more. Is when Bitcoin makes even a local higher low, a lot of altcoins will make a lower local low, and they're just going to start bleeding out. And if Bitcoin has a nice run to the upside, your altcoins are likely not going to have as strong as a run to the upside. Hey, Gyro Not, I will take a look at in Arch here after I get my Bitcoin. It'll probably take about 10 minutes here. So this is a very important implication. And for the person who just did a super chat, Hero Not or Gyro Not, I'll take a look at that. But that will be a major thing that I'll look at or take into consideration is Bitcoin dominance. It's not confirmed that it's going to bounce hard, but that's the first ingredient is what we just saw. Ethereum making that lower low, and so take that as you will. It won't greatly affect Bitcoin analysis, but it will affect any altcoin analysis that I'll provide today. All right, so I will go ahead and make myself a little bit smaller over here. All right, now these two horizontals here. This is I have it labeled, so if you want to put this in your chart, you can. This was my invalidation level for, you can forget about upside targets anytime soon. If this is broken below and used as resistance, that means Bitcoin would be dipping under 20K. And right now it's flirting with it. Therefore, if price were above here, which it was, or is bouncing here at least during my last video on Sunday, I think it had more chance to go up. Above this line, more chance up. Below this line, more chance to go down. Somewhere in the middle, well, then your chances are somewhere in the middle. You probably don't have a great edge either way, because this is a bounce point and it's being used as a bounce point as of now. So this easily could get a nice bounce here. But if you're trying to wait for altcoins to get a bounce, it looks like they're, especially after the last move that just happened like 10 minutes before I started this live stream, that kind of sealed the deal for me, right? Your altcoins, including Ethereum, might not do as well as Bitcoin here for the next week or so, is what I'm strongly anticipating at this time. And therefore, until Bitcoin price gets back within this channel and uses that support, right now there is no edge between this horizontal and that horizontal. Does that make sense? So when price interacts with this channel line, the point of control here, it is kind of a break even, whether it will get rejected from it or come into it, because it's between that horizontal and this horizontal. So this is your neutral zone. I don't think there's a great edge either way. However, it is closer to this area. So I would say there's a tiny edge down, but then again, it depends on how this bounces, how it interacts with this line on this bounce, if it gets that high. Or it could choose to come down here first and then bounce in here. We'll have to see. But these are the lines that I'm looking at. I have them clearly labeled. I don't have the point of control clearly labeled, but if you pause the chart and just, look that I'm on the one hour chart and, kind of draw it in the same area, at least this line, that's the bottom of my point of control there. And that is my Bitcoin analysis. I can't tell where price is going to go. Right now, it's in a neutral zone. I don't think there's great edge either way. However, what does look fairly certain is that Bitcoin dominance is probably ready to take a spike up. So if that means Bitcoin keeps going down or goes sideways, that means altcoins can make lower low and lower low and lower low and lower low, right? If Bitcoin goes sideways, making equal lows or higher lows. Expect that. That is the more confident thing that I could say within this analysis. However, I would become more confident after either this horizontal is broken, or if price gets back into here and uses as support and actually gets over this origin line. So if it can come up here, let me actually just draw this. This would make me very, very confident to the upside. If price could do something like this, maybe get rejected, come back up, come back in here, boom, 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 and get above. So not even necessarily above this line all the way, but into this horizontal and above that orange line. That would probably be a decent size move. I would say that would give a decent size move. This horizontal running into, it's almost like not quite a squeeze play, but it would have two lines intersect. It would have two lines intersecting, and it could really pop off. That would make me a little bit more confident, much more confident towards the upside. And what would make me confident to the downside, if this is broken and it comes up to use this this horizontal as resistance, as it uses the bottom, here, I'll just draw it, as it uses the bottom of the point of control as resistance, like that, and then boom, 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 back down. At this point here, after that tick down, I would become more confident to the downside. And I would become confident to the downside after it goes below and use it as resistance as well here. However, just the interaction with a horizontal alongside these channel lines is going to make me even more confident than typical. Does that make sense? And I do anticipate that when it interacts with these horizontals, it will also interact with one of these two lines at the same time. So from a timing perspective, it looks like that timing is about right. We might not have confidence in resolution until late tomorrow. Yeah, right when the markets are closing, essentially, is what I would say to that. Now, for Ethereum, I guess it's going to be less important to actually go over Ethereum price because Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to rise, and this is not going to be the voice of reason. I think the voice of reason will be Bitcoin right now. However, this little micro channel that I have going on, I mean, these channel rules, it looks like it has to come down to 11:15 before it has permission to bounce. Is that 100%? No. Nothing's 100%, but it looks like it's going to come up here, get rejected, and then work its way down slowly. It doesn't have to hit it way down here. It can go like this and hit it. But it looks like a low 1100s needs to be hit. So right now, price of Ethereum's in the mid 1100s, but I don't think this is going to be the voice of reason. What is, in my opinion, the voice of reason is, and I discounted this, SPX in general. Here, let me clean this up. I just made it worse. I didn't clean anything up. Right there. So that's the daily 21 EMA and the daily, actually I have that labeled wrong. Wonder how long it's been like that. There we go, daily 10. All right, you have a big channel right here with support, 2017 support here, okay? This fancy guy here is just a trend line. Just a fat trend line, essentially, and you can see that it got broken below. So because this trend line got broken below, tomorrow you could bet I would think it'd be fairly reasonable to say it's going to come swipe down here before it attempts to get back up to the top of the channel line and use this trend line as resistance at the same time. So this would kind of be my target for upside target, and then for the next couple days, at least before Friday. I think it should swipe down here and come up here before the end of the week, before determining am I going to bust out or am I going to keep dribbling down here. But price just went straight to the top of the channel, got rejection and failure pattern. For some reason, the other charts were saying this is going to break out, and this was the only thing saying, ooh, I should be shorting. And so I discounted this because 5 other pieces of the puzzle were saying, yeah, I think this has a slight edge to the upside. This got it right. SPX got things, the S&P 500 index, it really got things right. I mean, this is how I made a bunch of money, off of Ethereum, just shorting the top of the trading channel. And this is a very perfectly common pattern. Rejection, then failure, essentially get all the shorters out before to convince people. Actually, it's more to convince people that it's breaking out so they're long, so that the big money can take on shorts before they sell things on spot to drive this down. Across the board with their algos and all that kind of stuff, including Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's moving just with this. So this was a 3-minute wick, essentially, or a 5-minute candle, and Bitcoin had the same 5-minute candle. Same thing. Bitcoin literally moved with this exactly, but Bitcoin went above its point of control at that time. So that was right at the first market open candle, and it went the wrong way for a fake out. It's the first 5-minute traded candle. And if you look at Bitcoin, right here, it's this guy. It came up, so it didn't wick above. It actually got here, and it went screaming straight up to there to get stopped by the top of the point of control. Moved directly with it. Therefore, Bitcoin is in no man's land, and since the traditional markets are closed, I would fully expect it just kind of stays within this void area. I would be surprised if it went too deep into this point of control. I could see it potentially, Bitcoin, until markets open, hit 20,700 or so, the bottom of this. But I don't see it really, without markets open, getting way up in here, and I don't see it really falling down too much either. However, I want to be clear about one thing, though. Bitcoin typically hesitates to move with volatility when traditional markets are closed. But if it does move in a volatile fashion while markets are closed, it's probably going to be down. That's one thing we just went over in our VIP chat. Again, the Discord links are in the description section of all my videos. I post some bomb-ass charts on Twitter as well, Cosas Verdes with the number 2. And then the YouTube tiers are essentially for people who are a little too busy to join a community. I record and post the recordings of Discord Cryptillion live chats and provide about 15 to 30 updates on traditional markets in Bitcoin and Ethereum a week for them. All right. And overnight, though, I think it's more probable price stays on top of this between here, essentially in this void, between this horizontal and this horizontal. I don't think much will happen. But, again, if Bitcoin decides to get volatile, while markets are closed, it's going to be down. It would be down, but I think it's more probable it remains just kind of staying in this void, in this essentially this triangle. How long would that give us? So yeah, that'd be until market. That'd be past market open. Actually, that'd be till the end of the day tomorrow. So I would say something like this. Generally, stay in here. How many hours till market open? About 15 or so, something like that. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin literally just hangs out in this void. I can make this like pink. There you go, in that pink triangle. And any deviation, above or below, I would guess would be small in either direction until the end of this triangle. That this triangle should end roughly. Actually, let me see here. Give me a second. 9:30. Yeah, that's about right when markets open. So at that point there. And yeah, because you have some pressure from the downside with this point of control, you have essentially people defending this with buy pressure to the bottom side. So I think it's going to get stuck with low volatility without anything sexy happening until market open. Where it goes from market open, I don't know, because if it truly is here when market opens tomorrow, it's in no man's land. It's between these. I think, you're going to need to get resolution one way or another, and that's why those two price paths that I drew out earlier, I think it will have something to do with coming below here and getting rejected by where this horizontal meets this point of control, or stay floaty and then run up in here and get rejected by the top of the point of control, this orange line, as one of this horizontal is going through in this area, get rejected from here to here, essentially, and that target, right? And then essentially, if it comes down, get rejected from here to here, as this orange line is between the horizontals. Does that make sense? Essentially, geometry. I'm giving you a Geometry 101 class. Now, the Stokes and all my indicators, I've already discussed from a short-term time frame why I thought that Bitcoin had a chance to get to the upside, and that's with the weekly RSI. It's, and the rubber band is in a state of tension right now. So when green is touching white, that's a relaxed rubber band just sitting in your hand, and this is being stretched away. So green is being, back from here, it's being stretched farther and farther away from white. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. When it will come up, or at least slow down to allow the white to catch up. And because it's stretched so much in a state of a lot of tension, I would assume the moment is now over the next 2 weeks. That would be my assumption, but as of now, it's the short-term timeframes could really just drive this back down, and it could keep going. The RSI can go lower; it can go much lower. However, it is close to a point where it needs to allow its best friend, or the white line, to catch up with it. And so the smaller time frames, the hourly, RSI, and Stokes, they're really not giving much of a signal because there's no clear trend. So when you're just chopping up and down, back and forth, essentially going sideways for 10 days straight now, indicators aren't going to be super helpful unless you're dealing with super small time frames. The oscillation of the 5-minute could, give you some good signals, especially if you have a strong downtrend of the 5-minute or an uptrend on the 5-minute. The Stokes or RSI could give you good signals, but something to look at on an hourly scale or bigger. I don't think many indicators are going to give much good action here. I think it's going to be support and resistance dominant right now, and that would be the focus of what I'm looking for. Just taking things one step at a time. Just basic support and resistance, and if you want to get fancy, in general, just if it's at support and resistance and it's on a downtrend, like on the hourly, well, it has a slightly more better chance to break down because the 1 hour is in a downtrend. You could just pick a time frame between the 1 hour and the daily, and then take it, or no, maybe even the 1 hour to the 4 hour to determine your edges. But right now, I don't see much of an edge, and honestly, on the 1 hour, it does look like pressure could be down. But right now, Bitcoin is holding on here, so it's back and forth. I don't feel an edge, and when that happens, in my community, apart from being sick and everything, but when it's a little edgeless like this, I don't give alerts, and I actually suggest. So what I've been suggesting is just go outside and do something different, because this is not a favorable trading environment unless you're trading the 1 minute. You can always do stuff on the 1 minute and 5 minute and all that stuff, but you're not going to get any big rip to the upside or big rip to the downside. All right, so that is what else do we got for Bitcoin that I might be ignoring? Oh yeah, the daily. There is one more thing. The daily RSI is giving indication that this could be another 10. So okay, I just made a Bitcoin video around, what was it, May 16th? But it's the one titled "Bitcoin will move sideways at best for the next 10 days," or no, 10 to 30 days, and it moved sideways for 31 days. And it was all based off the idea of when the daily RSI makes a really sharp low, especially if it's a series of 3. So like 1, 2, you can't see that. Let's try that again, Tim. So back here is when I made, I think, it's May, it was the middle of May or something to this effect. So you had some drives down 1, 2, and Bitcoin was forming this on the daily chart. And essentially, what happens here is the RSI of the daily likes to bump its head somewhere between the white and the red, and it'll just chop sideways and go, price like it just doesn't. It's fairly directionless, even though the relative strength is increasing. Price is relatively directionless. It is back and forth, right? This higher high in RSI could be a lower low, on price, right? And so actually, I will show you what this looked like. Let's do it. Let's go from here to here and look what price did. I think that's the right area. Yeah, this is. Oh no, I went way too far back. Hold on. Hold up. Hey, it was right here. So I made that video. Yeah, sorry, that was the wrong year, Tim. Wow, this dude's way off. All right, where were we? There we go. Yeah, the most recent one. When price when daily RSI gets deep into the red zone and then starts bouncing on its RSI, it often goes sideways for quite a long time, and the average is 10 to 30 days, literally. So we've made another deep lower low, and it's starting to bounce around. This from now, it could easily be 10 days of sideways, and then just go down farther. It doesn't guarantee it'll go up. It just means sideways. So the last time it went sideways, what did it do? Price went down lower, and it could happen again. I'm thinking the weekly gives some idea that it'll go sideways and then try up, but this is starting to look similar to this signature, and actually, I guess that was the Wyckoff. It looks similar to Wyckoff. Just bounce on here until the daily RSI gets between the red and the white. That's where it bumps its head, and it still wants to go sideways. Nothing sexy happens, between bouncing here and getting all the way up here, which could be days and days and days and days. Watch. It took that long to get up there. That'd be 45 days. 45 days. Because things typically don't become clear until it hits its head somewhere between the white and the red. This could be a lot of sideways chop. And I want you to be fully expecting that as a strong possibility. And I know it sucks coming on to somebody's, TA show and to hear, well, it's going to move sideways. You want something sexier. I realize, but it's printing a very similar signature. So please be at least prepared for a strong possibility. I'm not saying probability, but strong possibility of sideways movement. And it could be about 40. It could be a while. It looks like it has a chance to be significantly longer than the last one. And Bitcoin does have a history during bearish markets to go sideways for 80 to 120 days. This could be a long one. It could be a lot of boringness. And if you're trying to learn to trade in this and you're used to the 1 hour, 4 hour chart, you're literally just going to chip away at your account with fees. Which I could tell you from experience over the last few days. I haven't posted a Grim Reaper for a reason. I got some work to do to get back to the door I left off on. I got a lot of work because I've been trading too much in a directionless environment, and it's done me no good. I've done nothing. I have had no good plays because there's really nothing to play unless you're in and out of positions really fast, right? And so be very careful over the next time until there's a clear trend, and those horizontals that I gave you on Bitcoin are going to help that. It won't guarantee a strong trend will come to fruition, but it will help in that. It'll help drastically to give you an idea of if you have an edge or not. And again, I am a little sick, and so thanks for bearing with me on this, and I will jump into the live questions. All right, Gyro Knot, you want me to look at in March? Okay. Uh-oh, it's a sushi only. Okay, be careful with this. I mean, you can't even... Isn't sushi like you can't even legitimately trade or something? There are no limit orders. You can only market buy and market sell. So I don't know much about sushi because I don't use those types of places. But yeah, that's... But anyway. All right. This honestly looks kind of impressive. Not kind of impressive. This is impressive. It looks like it's going to smash all-time highs to me. In a bear market. Wow. Really surprised to hear myself saying that about an altcoin when Bitcoin dominance, I think, is getting ready to go up, we're in a freaking bear market. But yeah, this shape, I mean, this shape is not bearish. Let me see. This, yeah, that's what it looks like. I can tell just by looking at it. It looks like it's going to smash through all-time highs. How much higher? Let me take a look. It looks like it's going to hit 271 or 270. Wow, it could get there pretty freaking fast. Yeah, I would say 00260 to 00270, just depending on when it hits that line, which that's not very far out. If it takes a few days to get there, it'll go a little higher. But yeah, 260 to 270 with the 00 in front of it, that looks like it's going to be its next move. And if you want to see what that looks like, so it gets kind of weird to look at things on an ascending basis, but if you go like this from top to top, so this box is a horizontal between the previous little local highs there, it would be getting above both of them. See, this would be all-time highs to there, 270. It looks like it's going to go straight up there. That's weird. You don't find many coins like that, but would I be defensive? Yeah. However, that would be hard not to, if you're already in this coin, I mean, that's a pretty good target. I can't tell what would really happen thereafter, because, Bitcoin could, I mean, if it gets up there and then Bitcoin starts taking off, this could be a really strong move. It could go a lot farther, but it really depends. Let's say it does get there, which it doesn't look it will. You're going to really want to focus on what Bitcoin's doing at that time and what traditional markets are doing, because there could be a it's going to, at that point, whatever Bitcoin's doing, I would assume it will succumb to it. But if Bitcoin starts racing, it'll go to the next one. It'll go way higher. What percentage basis? Yeah, it's only 10%, but still, it could go significantly higher depending on what Bitcoin. But that'd be my level, 260 to 270. And does it look 100? Is it 100% that it's going to break all-time highs? No, it's never 100%. It hasn't happened yet. It's not 100% until after the fact, but it looks like it's going to have its very, very probable chance of doing it, and this is among the very few things in a bear market, plus Bitcoin dominance looks like it's going to go up. So this is kind of a rare moment. I would not get my hopes up for it that this keeps going up in a bear market, but for the meantime, I would set this as a reasonable expectation of a strong possibility. And that's what we got. Yeah, that's an interesting one. There's not enough liquidity for me to be interested in it because you can see all these gaps. So when you see gaps and stuff, that means there's no one's trading it, literally. So the last person to buy was down here. The very next buy order was way up here. I mean, that's a huge percentage. Yeah, that's 10% where there were no orders. So somebody who wanted a market buy, I don't know, they clearly didn't look at the order book. And the next order was way up here. So so on this coin, don't deal with thousands of dollars of it, because I made that mistake in 2017 or 2018 as the bear market was going on, and I learned real quick what liquidity meant. You get stuck bad if there's just low liquidity on altcoins during a bear market, whether it's going up or down. It doesn't matter. You'll just get stuck. And that could happen to you there. So watch out for essentially a liquidity trap on this. You might not be able to sell. It's possible depending on how much you have. Like if you see a hit here and you try selling, in your sell order, and again, I don't know how liquid this is, but it looks very liquid. Your sell order could take it all the way back down here just from you hitting market sell. It could be that bad, depending on how much you have and how many orders are in the order book at that time. So be careful. Be careful. And you should be able to just make sure you know what an order book is on this. Because let's say you have 10,000 of these things, or like 100,000. And when it gets up here, you see the order book, like you're seeing people trying to sell 100 of them or 200 and stuff. And you're trying to sell 100,000, don't hit market sell, because you're just going to eat up the whole order book. You need to pay attention to it on there. So I'm giving you a little extra information since you gave me a nice fat super chat. And there's not much else besides high probability up that I can say. But if you have multiple thousands of dollars on this, be careful about getting in a liquidity sink or trap. It's not necessarily, no one's setting the trap for you like in price action, but it'll feel like a trap once you're in it, trust me, because you can't do jack shit, and it kind of sucks. So watch out for that, and that's what we got. All right. Okay, I will take a look at Brokoshi. How you doing? Today, I don't know. I don't even feel horrible. I'm not nauseous. I feel dizzy and disoriented, like confused. It's weird. Which is another reason why I haven't given any alerts in the last 36 hours. I felt horrible. Yeah, I don't want to lead anybody astray by being sick and confused. So, and just being out of groove in the charts. When for my Discord VIPs, for anybody who's not part of it, who's on here, a lot of times a lot of the damage I take, right, on my account, those are for trades that I didn't provide an alert for. I try to only give alerts when there is a trend and things look pretty damn confident. And that's why I was on such a roll, because I only gave the best alerts. I was trading about, 10 different things, or not 10 different coins, but taking 10 trades a day or more, up to 20 actually. But I would only give alerts for the best 4. And usually that got the bulk of the move. And so, all right, check it out. Check it out, 1, 2. What are your thoughts on Hive? Okay, Hive. I thought Hive was a late 2017 coin, 2018 coin, wasn't it? I remember that. What I'm trying to do in my mind is look at all these wicks, essentially. Wicks are really powerful, and I like I like the point of control to have a lot of trading volume tight inside. So this is just crashing through, so this doesn't actually help. But this helps establish where the point, and this helps establish where the point of control is. But all these other wicks outside of that, like these, raced up and wicked, that helps me understand the angle that it should be at, and raced up and wicked, and then raced down and wicked at the bottom. So those and these help me define that, okay, it truly is, like that is the point of control for the entire range. That's why I was staring at stuff so much on this. Just there, let me zoom into that a little bit. So what helps me eyeball it at first is where you got a lot of tight, price action. And especially a zone where, like, it clearly, when it goes above, it comes back to it, it fills it out. Or it comes from below, it comes to it, it fills it out. But in this case, it didn't happen. It didn't fill it out, but it wicked up perfectly. So I lined up these wicks and then wicks up to hit the bottom, like this one and this one, to make sure, okay, where is this about right? And it is. So what do I think about this? Okay, so this was the bottom line it just fell off of. So this should be the top of the... Interesting. Probably make these dash too. Throws off my... Alright. Well, it fell off a cliff, and buyers are stepping in to bring it back to health. So this is kind of like your, I don't play video games, but, if you're playing Halo or whatever people play now, where your health is dying, and like you just scoop up a health or something, that's what this looks like. How much health, I don't know, but as of now, it looks like a pretty good one. Yeah, it was on the brink of death. Is kind of how I would interpret this. Damn, that's a big move. Wow. So what's going to happen here, honestly, in 20 minutes is going to be a big deal. Of course, fake outs can exist within the parameters of what I'm about to say, but you have these candle bodies here and these candle bodies here almost in perfect harmony. This candle closes in 19 minutes. You can see it on the right-hand side. And so what I'm about to show, it applies to like all coins that, do something similar to this, which could be a lot. So if the day can close over there in 20 minutes, I think tomorrow could have a nice backfill all the way down to here, something like that, 54.87, but then flip green. And charge, over the next several days, charge up to here to almost $1. It really depends on this closure. And again, what I said earlier, I said it, very specifically, and it kind of makes, this is part of where trading is hard, no matter what. Fake outs do happen within what I just said. So sometimes, absolutely perfectly, and it happens on NASDAQ a bunch, on the hourly. They totally do hourly closures on purpose, above a line and then drive it back down. It's crazy. Yeah, the traditional market algos really play those hourly candles for fake outs. But a lot of times you'll see price get especially at the end of the day, or just have one hot green day, get over a resistance and close. And then sometimes the next day will go up even a little higher over the previous day's highest point and then crash down. But at least you know what level you're looking for on something like this. And if the day actually starts down and stretches, you could say that that's normal. And then what you're looking for is the candle to flip green, right? And that would be your momentum factor up. But if the day just starts out hot, it could just stay hot, but you got to be more defensive. That could be a fake out, and then when it flips red, you're like, uh-oh. So you essentially look at the candle color versus the direction the day started, or the overall direction of most of the hours of the day. Does that make sense? So like if I were to map this out, actually, I think that was an okay visual. If this day closes above, the next day could, if it starts down and stays the first few hours down and starts bouncing off here and flips green, I would be pretty bullish, especially at that flippage and some, just you see a bounce from there. Once it flips, I would say there's strong momentum to the upside. However, it does get harder if it starts the day up for J. Now it could spend like an hour down and then, the next 11 hours before traditional markets open, but you still need to be defensive in that case, because when traditional markets open, it could just come up here and then the day flips red. So essentially you have a red candle that looks something like this. Something like that. And hopefully you can see, I don't know if on your end you can see the difference between here, but they have different thicknesses. Like this is the candle body from here to here, and then all this is a wick because it's thinner. I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's what could happen there on a fake out. And your key for, hey, this is getting ready to be bad, is if the day flips red. At the point from the open it goes below it, that's your emergency warning. So tomorrow's candle for this asset, and any other asset that behaves this way, those are the days you really want to mark off your daily open line with a little white line when you're looking on it with a 3-minute chart or something. You're really going to want to look at that line. And that's what we got for that one. All right. What's up? Okay. All right. What else do we got? Yeah, thank you. I like my dash hat as well. All right. Price discovery for Happy. Argus. All right. Argus. Hey, nice to see you here in the YouTube tier community. Appreciate seeing you. Happy. Price discovery for, price discovery down. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not price discovery up. This is an easy one. This is almost like exactly like what Trias is doing. You have essentially a point of control, but this already gave you the clue of how high the top of the channel actually is. This is just the point of control with everything else. So this is kind of how I don't know if you call it channel theory or whatever, but just how I've learned how the algos behave. If you have a tight channel, you can fairly assume that is the point of control. But usually, as the channel begins, typically, you'll either have a strong wick down or a strong move up, and that is here. And I'll just draw it. So what you can do is you can draw a line. This is for Ethereum and everything. Like this happens a lot on Ethereum, and especially Ethereum. But I'm about ready to show you here. It's kind of a trick. So I keep that perfectly parallel, maybe extend it a little bit, whatever. Extend this guy. There you go. All right, and then so keep it perfectly parallel like this. All right, and so this distance from here to here should be equidistant down here, and that will give you the true bottom of the range. So this did not hit the bottom of the channel. The bottom of the channel is oh gosh, how could I? Make it perfectly perpendicular here. That was a good guess. That's about right. And so this is the bottom of the range. So I would not be bullish on this until, you know, like I wouldn't expect it to make a new local high until this range is broken out of. So price discovery down for this. It's, I mean, yeah, it could come all the way. It looks like it has the momentum to hit the top side of this, but it's going to stop there, like very, very likely. Unless it gets there and then Bitcoin starts heading up, yeah, it could break out. Absolutely. Break above, get rejected by the top of this on a horizontal basis, come way back down to retest the top of that channel, something like this. So this horizontal with all this. So if it gets up here, as Bitcoin starts to finally go up, come up, boom, come back down, test the bottom of it, like fake out, and then try it all over again. That could happen if this rally of Bitcoin lasts several weeks in order for the RSI to come up to touch or get close to touching. It's a moving RSI's moving average, EMA. But this just looks like it hit. I mean, look, once, twice, 3 times. So it's probably going to come back in here, is what I would guess. But if you see on small candles, if you zoom in here to like the 5 minute, let's see how long it played around with the. Or let me go to the 15 minute. See how on these other wicks up, how long did it play around? So here it played around the top of the point of control for quite a while, but it got under it within 4. So that was 4. That was 3 days. It used it as support, and then it just broke down into it. Wow, that's a slow bleed. Interesting. So it almost looks like it could do the same thing. Use it as support generally, and then get below it, and then bam, something to that effect. Yeah, that's what I would do for this chart. I mean, this will keep you pretty safe, and this will force your analysis to be it'll force your analysis to be better than mediocre. I'll tell you that. If you just take a snapshot of what I just draw here, and you could probably try it on the 4-hour chart. You get enough of the price history, and that's how we do it. And this is called the rotated. What is it called? Rotated rectangle. And starting from the top here. Let's see here if I can go to the top right. You can't see that part of the screen. There we go. So starting up here, you do 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe it's on there. Rotated rectangle. And then everything stays parallel. All right, rock and roll. Okay, let me look at some non-community member questions. Naka, I don't know anything about Naka. I don't know what that is. Trias. Yeah, we can look at Trias. So I just drew this relating it to Trias, right? Because Trias isn't the same thing. It has a tight point of control channel, but it's a quote unquote mystery how wide the channel really is, but you get clues from looking back farther. And I think I've drawn the same type of channel. Speaking of the devil, I drew the same type of thing on Trias, and I would be confident that it's still within it, if not within the point of control itself. But my chart should have something extremely similar. See that? So I guess I could go ahead and draw dotted lines here. Halfway point. Which is exactly what it hit. It's just the halfway point. Yeah, crypto loves symmetry, everybody. I'm telling you, it really does. Perfectly parallel, perfectly equidistant. Like it. I mean, look at this. That's exactly the halfway point. I would say it's gonna fall. It's got a chance to actually get up to the top of this. It's got a chance to go back up to $1.40. But to me, it looks like it's going to come down here to $1.12 to touch the top and then try to bounce. So it looks like it's going to stay almost in a perfectly, like, it might stay in this box for a while. Because pinging back off of this point of control would be that horizontal as well. So you're hitting two things at once. So not only is it two things at once, two important lines crossed, but price could easily get sucked into it, but it also has a chance to bounce, which increases the chance that you'll see something like this. Drastically increase the chance. And you have the idea that Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to bounce. So if Bitcoin just goes sideways, well, Trias will probably do this too. I mean, it'll probably go down and sideways. Does that make sense? Yeah, and it's on its way to hitting my target of 70 cents. I got a lot of naysayers saying it won't hit 70 cents, which is exactly how they sound, right? It won't hit 70 cents. That's the way that's the voice I hear when I get those comments on my channel. Trias is going to be the king of the next bull run. It might be, but it's going to hit 70 cents first before it's king, okay? Or lower. Honestly, 70 cents might be too high of a guess. This could be a really, okay, so I'm talking about Trias still. This involves Trias, but I'm telling you, this is not going to be over until you get the feeling that, why am I fucking still in crypto? And you really need to get that feeling. And once you feel it, that means it might be close to being over, right? Unless you're making money to the downside, which honestly, I made a shit ton of money to the downside. I'm getting my butt kicked when price floats up. Hell, I'd be past 30K with the Grim Reaper already had the trend stayed down. I was doing way better shorting, way better. But if you're in altcoins like this without, trading on futures successfully with practice before you go try it, so I'm not trying to entice anybody to go to futures, because any money you put in futures at first, as when you're learning, will go to zero. It will go to zero, and it will do it multiple times. Trust me. But with Trias, in all your altcoins on spot for spot trading, it's not going to be over until you get that feeling. I'm telling you, going to be right on this. It's exactly what's going to happen, and the way you can view it visually in the chart is with Trias and all these altcoins is it's going to feel like it barely has a heartbeat. And it feels like, what the hell? Things have, been going, they're not going down. It's not going up, but it's just flatline. And that's the way, and that'll be when Bitcoin is trying to form some daily higher lows after having hit bottom. But as Bitcoin is wiggling up, people don't care about altcoins. They will stay flat down near their bottoms, maybe 50% away from the ultimate wick low, but it's going to be low and flat, and it's going to be a long time. And I just see this keep going down. I haven't seen it flatten out over here. So it's not over yet, folks. I mean, 70 cents is like, this target here it's probably too generous. Like, this would be a normal bear market target, right? A normal one. We're very likely going to have an extended bear market. The only thing that could save it is something crazy with Bitcoin adoption news, or the Fed reverses its stance and says, screw it, let's turn on the money print machines again. We have an election cycle to win, so we better, we better get the economy going, which could easily happen. That actually could turn Bitcoin around pretty fast, in which this would not be hit. That could happen. But you're going to need some event to stimulate it. But I think any events that could stimulate any type of price moving forward, I think it has a stronger chance of being down, which means this has a good chance of being too high of a guess, right? The only chance that this has to be too low of a guess is if the Fed gets some gets a little bit of breathing down its neck in regard to the next election cycle and how, I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist, but that could happen, and which this would never be hit. But that would be about your only chance of this not being hit, in my opinion. And so don't be a naysayer to this yet. It's still in this channel, and this channel is headed towards this horizontal. So until it's out of this channel, don't naysay this, because look, it's crashing into it. It's still in it, so it's probably going to hit it, right? All right, that's what we got for Trias. All right. All right. Yeah, if you statistically backtracked all of the Reddit and YouTube comments about people saying, buy this and wait 100 days and thank me later, more than 90% were dead wrong. So, even though you pick Kadena to say that, make that comment, but just from a statistical standpoint, not picking on Kadena at all, because I think it does have a good chance to be strong next. As of now, it has a chance. That chance, could change over time. But yeah, those comments aren't helpful me, because people have been around more than one cycle. We've already seen it a million times, and most of those coins didn't even get halfway to previous all-time highs, right? All right, so diamond hands, yeah. I mean, it's okay to have diamond hands for a small portion of your portfolio, but not the whole thing. I think that's kind of stupid. To be honest with you, people who diamond hand their whole position, their whole portfolio is kind of silly. All right, I think that in general is horrible advice. I guess maybe not with Bitcoin. If you have a constant 4-year mentality on Bitcoin, you could technically buy the tops every time and be okay. But that would be a lot of years in between of just misery. So it's still not a great idea. It'd be a lot of misery between those tops you bought. But happy for about 6 months sporadically at a time. Or 6 months out of every 4 years, it'd be pretty thrilled. Getting half, no, it'd be half the bull run. So shit, it'd be like 3 months of glory every 4 years. All right, so let's take a look here. What other good questions? Flux, I got a couple people asking about Flux. Okay, I guess we can. Yeah, I've covered Flux before. We'll do it again. Got a lot of stuff on my chart here. Well, it's already hit my first bear market target. I would say I would not get excited about that. I would do the same thing. I'd use your rotated rectangle tool, and you have a lot of tightly knit price action here and here. So this will probably define what you would call the point of control, essentially. I'm just going to have to make a guess and see what looks good, but something to... this effect. And again, so when you're making channels and you don't have a lot of information outside of the point of control, which typically the point of control you want to do, well, maybe not do first, but you definitely want to define it, is if you don't have information, well, how high, how high up and how far down, well, it's that 1 wick up or 1 wick down that helps define it. And I'm thinking that the distance from here to here is equidistant from here to here. And then this is going to show you, hopefully this doesn't make me a liar. And it is a small altcoin, not heavily controlled by bots or algos, so it might not be perfect, but I bet it's going to be pretty close. Just 1 watch. But Bitcoin and Ethereum especially, they just really like symmetry. Oh, take a look. That's not straight. Ta-da! Told you. It's exactly the same distance. The distance from that wick to the point of control is the same from that wick to the point of control. I told you, these bots, they have symmetry programmed into them for some reason. Like, there is symmetry. Like, there's so much symmetry. And that was a perfect example. I didn't think it would be so good, but that was spot on the money. All right. We got a dog chewing on a bottle. Give me a second. Oh. Okay. All right. Sorry, Flux, folks. So I would not be excited about this. I mean, really, yeah, it's got a lot of work to do. I mean, this looks like it's going to come down to 17 cents to me. It's still in the middle of the zone. I mean, maybe start baby steps being excited once it gets above the point of control. But then you got this, and if it came up to, this would actually be a good play. If it were able to get a bounce here, you'd hit the top of the channel along with this horizontal at the same time. But it would likely get rejected by the bottom of this box because it would take a while to get there. And yeah, I would get excited until it's fully above this horizontal and broken above. Or at some other point in the future after it goes down until it comes above the top of the channel, uses as support, and gets above it. There's really nothing going on besides falling with style until it's out of this. And this should take it through the whole bear market. This is wide enough of a channel where if you want to pause this video and, make these lines because you're into Flux, this will tell you when is this finally going to recover. This channel is going to give you that information with a strong degree of probability. I'm telling you. It will. Let me make these blue. And that's what I got for Flux. Since people ask about that a lot, I will go ahead and what was I looking at? Oh, love that. Yeah, it's probably going to hit this. It's way over here. So I can reel these in a little bit. Like that. Let's touch the point of control. There you go. These are all the things that are relevant for this asset. You really don't need much of anything else. All right. In a downtrend. KDA is a $3,000 asset you can buy today for $1. Okay, let's do some math, man. I might have to assist somebody with basic arithmetic. Dude, whoever is talking about that, okay, market wizard, you're way too bullish for being in a bear market. All right, I mean, you're way too bullish. Okay. So first note. About 1/6. No, it's between a fifth and a sixth. Around 1/6 of the coins are in circulation. I don't know the tokenomics, but over time, That's pressure down on price. Keep that in mind. And a lot of the information you can find on tokenomics is a fucking lie. They plan one thing and they do another sometimes. Can't trust it. There's no regulation binding them to their word. You can trust it all you want, but don't trust it blindly. But the facts are, it's got around 1/6 of, like, there's going to be roughly a 600% inflation event over time. It won't be one single event, but keep that in mind. Now, for this to be $3,000, so I'm going to call this roughly 300 million, okay? All right, so $300 million market cap now, $1.61. So you think it's going to go up 1,863 times, and the current market cap is 300 million. You think with current, so the circulating supply makes this worse, even less likely. Hundreds, thousands, millions, 558 billion market cap. Over $500 billion. Okay? The market cap of Amazon, where did it say? I thought it said it's right at 1 trillion. Yeah, so it's, you think it could be the half the size of Amazon? I mean, in 15 to 20 years, maybe. But Kadena is a relatively new company. From a statistical standpoint, the vast, I will say over 90%. So I promise YouTube I wouldn't say that again. But I will in this case because it doesn't involve price. Statistically, in the United States, new businesses within first 5 years, 90% go under. Within 10 years, it's closer to 95. So it's way more likely from just a number standpoint. I'm not picking on Kadena. Put any, like you could say Cardano, whatever, or a company that opens shop down the road to, paint motorcycles. I don't know. Pick something. Or a nursery center. It has that same statistical chance, right? It's just it's not biased towards what type of industry. It's way more likely Kadena is not even a thing within 15 years than to say, whoa, it's going to be half the size of Amazon. I guess it is technically possible. From a mathematical standpoint, that could happen. It could go up 1,800 times. It is possible. The Ethereum's market cap, $138. How high did it get? Ethereum's market cap got up. Yeah, so that would be, so it would have to get to the same market cap that Ethereum got to before all that inflation happens. And that's the part where it becomes just totally kind of silly to say. If 100% of the coins were in circulation, okay, a chance over 15 years, right? Or 8 years or something. Okay? But over that 8 years, you're going to have inflation of the coin. And in order to get to that price, the market cap has to get even bigger, which makes it less probable, right? It's just going to be, it's so far from even being like worth talking about, man. Like from a mathematical standpoint, you got to know. So I think, maybe from a market cap standpoint, it is reachable. But all the other numbers are just saying it's so improbable that it's not worth talking about. Okay, I know, world class this, world class that. I get it, but you can have scientists aren't great business people oftentimes. Okay, I like you can have all the smart minds and doctors and all the tech in the world. If you don't have a good business team, or hell, it's just simply a good marketing team. What makes what makes iPhone like an Apple so damn successful? Yeah, it could be. You could give an answer. It's the product, right? The product is at least they have good The phones have good cameras at least. Um, but it's their marketing. And they've essentially created, I'm using this term in an informative endearment, but like they've created a cult. Like, and everything's linked to it. If you want to like switch music and this, like you gotta get away from iPhone. So it's like it's marketing, and yeah, it's like they're successful because of their marketing. Same with insurance companies. Their biggest budget is marketing, right? So I just that doesn't mean that smart like PhD people are gonna know how to run a business. It's you're essentially betting on something that is supposed to be a business. It has to, so it could be the best product in the world. You could have an iPhone like on steroids for half the price of an iPhone. But if those people who develop that can't market it, no one's gonna know about it. An iPhone will still dominate the shit out of it, even though there's a phone twice as good for half the cost. Doesn't mean they're gonna be successful business people, man. Running a business is hard, and it takes a lot of creativity. And sometimes all the smartest people, sometimes they lack creativity. Just because you're a scientist or you're the foremost knowledgeable person on one topic does not mean you're creative. So hopefully they have some creative people on their team, and that would drastically increase the chance of doing well business wise. But logically, and the depth of knowledge is good for creating a great product. Yes, that is what you need to create a great product. Just as I said, twice as good as an iPhone, half the price. That it's possible that never comes into play and doesn't matter if you can't have the business stuff. That's where creativity comes. And I think I took a poll the other time about a couple weeks ago. Like when you're stuck in a rut or whatever, or have a problem to solve, do you rely more on logic or on creativity? That's kind of the chasm that I'm talking about. Like you need both. So it's not guaranteed that they have both. It's not a safe bet, is what I'm saying. And it's statistically probable that Kadena never breaks the all-time highs from last cycle. It's statistically locked in right now as being probable. It is. It is probable at this time, given all the data and all of crypto for price. It's statistically likely, well over 50%, it never gets past its previous all-time highs. From a raw numbers statistical standpoint, that is true. It's just there's so many things stacking up. Now, is that what people who bought Amazon at $2 in February of 2020 or whatever the crash, or 2000, sorry, or maybe it was like April, but when it got down there to under $3, yeah, they were visionaries, or maybe they just took a bet like you are, like this is going to $1 trillion, and they were right. But how many people made those guesses about other companies in the dot-com bust? A lot. And where'd they go? Never met all-time highs. The vast majority of them, right? So you don't know if you're picking an Amazon or not. But you got to guess, and just don't guess too confidently. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's a bear market, man. It could easily be dead before there's any glory. I'm trying to warn you. Remember cross bad? Cross bad. Like that's another cross bad moment. It's just from a statistical standpoint. It's not safe to say that stuff. But you could end up being right. All right. FWT. I don't know what FWT is. All right, I'm going to go after a couple more here. FWT. So far, looks like a damn roller coaster. This looks fun. This is volatile and predictable. It might be too volatile. Ooh, wow. That's wacky. Well, I mean, I would focus on these two lines. Really? Again, this could easily break down and just stay under this, right? Like, because we're in a bear market. But in general, what's happened since last year is this is a good buy area and that's a good sell area. And if you make a higher high below this line, that's also a good buy area like this. So, or I mean a higher low. Low, higher low, below that line, boom. So a higher low below this line or touching that line has been a good buy. This has been a good sell. Is that 100% guaranteed to continue holding up? For example, if you bought, are you guaranteed to go up here? No. You could buy and it goes price discovery down. That could easily happen. It could break into its next little channel like this at any time, but this is going to be a good frame of reference of what's happening. And a good target for where this could go is just this line down here. I mean, it could hold. So the beginning of price was on this line. It could easily come down here, hold during a bear market, or it could do one line down and hit while this hits the horizontal of this, something to this effect. For a bear market finale, something like, oop, nope, that'd be way below it. That'd be hitting these lows. So yeah, this could be a bear market low, 0046, something like that. Could hit it right there, right on that money as those cross. That would be a good target. That's where I would think. Somewhere around here for this coin. That's FWT. Yeah, that's an interesting coin. It's too volatile for me to get in, and it doesn't trade on enough exchanges. So, all right, yeah. EGLD. This looks similar to Total 2 market cap. So this is trading like the average of altcoins. Yeah, it's so from wick to wick. This is an obvious zone, but it's a fib, Tim. No, it's a horizontal. It's just if a fib's there, it happened to occur on a strong horizontal that would have gotten price to bounce anyway, most likely. Yeah, these wicks count for a lot, and so does stuff like this, especially when they're close together. They make a box. So the next one. I don't know if I should go up or down. This actually might have a nice support just below it. I would say up. This actually has a nice support not too far below it. This is advantageous for this. Oh, that's 60. Well, that's still 50% down. So I guess it's... Wow, this must have had a big run if that's 50%. My goodness, what the... Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, that's stupid. A 700x run. What the fuck? Wow. Wow. I did not know that this got such a big run. This will probably go 98% down in the bear market. So I would say... How much is this? This is only 95. This could stop it. So this lower one could stop it, but it just went so high. I think it's going to here. I think it's going to that point and that point and that point. This would be my guess. And yeah, it would. You need this middle one on your chart, because if this is broken, it's so just like I said with Kanina. If it breaks this, it's going to come straight down a long way. It's exactly what happened. It's the same scenario. There's nothing there to stop it. It will slide hard. You need this level on here. It's like around 25.50. Okay, but it's a little box made by, so that wick over here is the bottom of the box. Okay, and then this height here is the top of it. If it goes below the box and you use it as resistance, it's going to come down hard, and it's going to go way lower. Way from that. So this point is 50% down, but from that point, it's another 70% down, and from current price, that would be another 85% down. Don't believe it, but this could hold though. This could. So I would definitely be targeting $25, but I would not DCA hard into that, because there's a decent chance that it's going to go down another 86% after that. So be careful with that. Don't have a ton of confidence, but it could hold up the 25 range, 25 and a quarter range. But I think my favorite guess would be $7.50. So I'm going to put my target like this. And that would line up with like a February capitulation. Yeah. That's kind of how I would view it. Until it gets out of this area, it's more likely to happen, in my opinion. So once again, we have this little trick here where you can... So this... That's the same distance. So this is a pretty tightly knit. This might not be the full range. I almost think that this would be my dotted line. But that's what it's got so far. So I would go... So that's equidistant, and then one in the middle. Uh-oh, something's not parallel. There you go. Yeah, so it's at the bottom of its range. Yeah, so it's gonna keep targeting next box down until it can break out of this trading channel, because almost 100% of all trading volume, like literally 100%, since last October has been in this channel. So if it's 100% going on like 8 months now, 8.5 months, yeah, like right at close to 9 months here. It's going to stay in here until it doesn't. As weird as that sounds. So until it's out of here, it's most likely to stay. Therefore, it's definitely eyeballing this, because it's most likely going to stay until it's out. Once it's out, then you can say, okay, it could come up now. It might not most likely stay in here, but yeah, it's gonna be targeting these guys, and that's got about the right trajectory for a New Year's / Christmas sell-off. So it bounces around in here, stays, like for example, bounces around in here, does something like this, boom, 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 tries to stay on the right click, bounces around, tries to stay on this guy for a while, do something like this, and then go boom, 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 bam. Yeah, that could easily happen. I'll leave that there. How about that? We can follow up this another time, and I will actually add this chart, because I think this trades on KuCoin futures, so I will go ahead and save this guy. Oh, I already had it on there. Different chart, nothing there. I'll get that off. Oh, There you go. I'll leave that guy on there. All right. I just don't think that traditional supports are being built right now because of how risk off things are at the very, except the ones that we haven't hit yet are weak. That means you're more bearish in general. I mean, yeah, I mean the greater trend is down. So I think your comment is the idea of is why would we bounce? Oh, I didn't see that happen. Gosh darn it. Or no, maybe I did have my orders in. I think I did. Actually, I did have my orders in. Sweet. I think I had my orders in for that already. Yeah, I did. All right, good. Yeah, so that just happened. I'm not for sure I understand, but I think you're saying it's reason to be bearish. Yeah, I think so too. Until things are very risk off and things are going to keep shedding and supports likely will be busted through. That's going with the daily trend and the weekly trend. It's down. Absolutely. You'll have times of breathing between it. But yeah, I don't disagree with anything you just said. All right, M and W buy targets, then I gotta be done. I can't breathe right now very well. Or out of my nose. I'm not suffocating because of COVID, but M and W. $11, $12. Let me make sure that makes sense from the top. This one's a more obvious one. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, around 11 to 12 cents. That's an easy one. Because it's already past the last thing that's going to hold it. So, yeah, it's already below it. Used as resistance, so it's coming here. Over time. How much down? It looks like 60% down, 74. But in total, that's about 97%. That's where I would feel comfortable beginning to, be comfortable with my purchases there from a personal standpoint. Be awesome to get it for that cheap. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this bear market is gonna be a dirty one. It's gonna be dirty, and it's it's gonna be fun as long as you're not overly bullish now and you don't DCA too early, too aggressively. Expect this to last longer, and be patient. It's again. I'm gonna leave off with this thought. Don't be like macro bullish, I guess, until 2 weekly candles close above the weekly 10 EMA, which like that's a good time to start, like being hopeful. That's A. But or B, more likely what you'll experience first is everything, especially altcoins, like they just barely have a heartbeat. And it's boring. And it's just like, why am I here? It's gonna so the bear market is not close to over until you get that feeling, or visually, what could happen first, but unlikely, is that a weekly or one or two weekly candles close above the weekly 10 EMA. But I think that's very, very unlikely to happen, and it would take a very large rally and then to stick its landing up there. So I don't think it's very likely. So I hopefully will feel better by tomorrow on Thursday at 7 p.m. We'll do this again. Make sure you hit this, smash the likes on your way out. Do the algo a quick favor and leave me a quick comment, even if it's just a smiley face emoji or whatever, to help out your YouTube content creator. And we'll see you on Thursday. Hopefully I won't have a stuffed up nose and sound ridiculous. All right, we'll see you next time, everybody.